Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Popo here, bringing you guys a new video, and today we're going to be making some predictions about the World Championships. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, and today we're going to be making predictions about the World Championships that starts today. I'm so excited for this. This is probably the most excited I've been for a World Championship ever. It might be because I know a lot of people that have gone, so it's just exciting in that way. But yeah, we got a lot to go through here. Everything from my predictions for the top usage Pokemon all the way to my hot takes, and everybody loves the hot takes, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with this here. This is going to be my predictions for the top 6 usage of non-restricted Pokemon. And starting off at number 6 is going to be Farigiraf. I think Farigiraf is very, very strong right now. This is a Pokemon that is doing a lot of different things. It can run a lot of different items. You can go for Hyper Voices with throat sprays. You can even go for Mental Herb. You can go for Safety Goggles. There's so much you can do with this Pokemon. Also gets Helping Hand, which does help its partner Pokemon. And it just does a lot. Sets up Trick Room too, which is a huge deal for a lot of teams. The next one at 32 is going to be Amoonguss. Now, Amoonguss could have been higher than this, though I think Amoonguss is going to be down at number 5, only because there's a lot of grass types to vie for, and you know, you gotta pick your poison kind of one. And this one is a very good one because it's good against a lot of the top Pokemon, but sometimes it's not so good against some of the niche Pokemon. And you can run a bunch of different items on it, Citrus Berry all the way to Rocky Helmet, which I think is the best item on it right now. It just gives you the most value, and it's really, really good against Urshifu and Rillaboom. So I think that is the best item on it. Next, we have Incineroar. This is going to be a Pokemon that gives you a lot of room to move. And yes, there is a big gap between 3rd and 4th, and Rillaboom being 4th. It might seem a little strange to everybody, but this is a very, very good Pokemon, though in some matchups, it's not that great anymore, especially teams that are running like that Farigiraf over there, because it cannot go for those fake outs. It has dropped its fire move, so it's not as good into Amoonguss either. It is running Will-O-Wisp now, which makes it slightly better into the Ice Rider matchups, though I think some Ice Riders might be Fire Terror out there, so you're going to have to be careful about that. Make sure you're looking at your team sheets and properly identifying the terrestrialization, because a lot of people have problems with that. But of course, it's a very, very good Pokemon, and one of the best Pokemon all time, and I think has a really good chance to win Worlds again and be the only Pokemon that's ever won Worlds every time it's been legal. So yeah, but I'm putting it here at number 4. Number 3, I have Raging Bolt, and that's only because Raging Bolt is so strong that it beats out the Incineroar. I think Incineroar otherwise would be number 3. But essentially, Raging Bolt is a second restricted Pokemon. It has the stats of a restricted Pokemon. It's super bulky, outputs a ton of damage, can wear a bunch of different items, including Assault Vest with Snarl, or you can go for Life Orb, you can go for Booster Energy, you can go for Leftovers with Calm Mind. So there's so much this Pokemon can do that it puts it in a very good position to be on a lot of teams, as it fills a bunch of different roles. And yeah, it pairs well with a lot of different restricteds, whether it's Trick Room or Tailwind or neither. It's very, very, very strong Pokemon, so I think it's going to be number 3. But number 2, no surprise to anybody, is going to be Rillaboom. And Rillaboom, I guess, could have been number 1, but I think it's going to be number 2 only because fighting with Amoonguss for that number 2 slot. This Pokemon could be anywhere between 50 and 60% usage, I think. It's just really, really good. And with a World Championship, these people have had a lot of time to actually get ready for this tournament. So you're going to see a metagame that I think is a little bit more condensed than what we're used to at regionals, where kind of anybody can join, and there's some wild teams out there, and sometimes things take by surprise. But at the World Championship, you want to use something you're confident with, something that is stable and is good into a lot of matchups. And Rillaboom kind of solidifies a lot of teams in those areas where it gives fake out support, but on top of that, it also does things like set up the grassy terrain or do a ton of damage with Wood Hammer. And it's also a super bulky Pokemon that you can run Assault Vest on, but you don't have to run Assault Vest for it to be good either. So it just does a lot of things that a lot of teams need. And speaking of the things that Rillaboom does well is attacks into Urshifu, which is going to be number 1. This is Urshifu Rapid Strike, of course. Extremely strong Pokemon, as everybody knows. Won the World Championship last year, and I think it is going to probably win the World Championship this year. One of the best Pokemon they've ever created. This thing is ridiculous. Its ability is to attack through Protect. Surging Strike's always critical strikes, so you're just doing a massive amount of damage for really little investment. It is not super good special defensive wise, but a lot of people do run the Focus Sash, but most people are probably going to be running the Choice Scarf just to make this thing as fast as possible. Maybe using Wolfie Spread that he recently put out. Who knows? But this Pokemon is versatile in that way too, where it can run those few different items and be very, very successful. But that is it for the non-restricteds. For the restricteds here, we're going to start at number 6 with Kyogre. Kyogre is one of those Pokemon that I put on Fraud Alert right at the beginning. Right after my first list, before I even played, I put Kyogre at S tier, but after playing, B tier for sure. And it has kind of stayed around there for the duration of its life. I don't think this Pokemon is particularly good. It does kind of one thing, and everybody knows what it's kind of trying to do. So it's really easy to stop. Wyguard is super prevalent, and Pelipper is out there too. So it's kind of hard to use, and but believers out there are going to definitely try to use it and bring that rain and do tons of damage. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does extremely well with it. So next we have Zamazenta. Zamazenta has dropped off a little bit, and a lot of that has to do with the rise of Pelipper using those wide guards. Kind of left Zamazenta without that little space, and more people are using stuff that can counter Zamazenta, like Ghost-type Pokemon. Where it can't really do anything into those. It's also very susceptible to status conditions, whether it be Spore or it be Will-O-Wisp. Once again, Incineroar is running Will-O-Wisp with Ghost Terror, really stopping this thing too. So it has really, really dropped off from where it originally was in the meta, which was one of the best, if not the best restricted at a certain point. But I think people are still going to build with it, and I think it has a really, really good chance to be very successful at this regional, or at this Worlds, not regional, at this World Championship. I still think it's head and shoulders above Zacian. But yeah, I think it'll be around 8% usage. And at 12%, we have Galapagos. This is a Pokemon that is kind of beat by Zamazenta, but with Zamazenta dropping down, Galapagos has a better chance of being more successful, right? I think there's so many variations of Galapagos that you could use, anywhere from using Calm Mind to going for the Meteor Beam sets, or you can just go for the Choice Spec set. So it has a lot of variety there, as well as it gets so many different moves. So you can tech so many different moves and you know, different attacks and all that kind of stuff onto it too, to make it a more successful Pokemon on the team that you need it to be successful on. So I think it'll be pretty good. Next, we have Miraidon. This Pokemon I had put pretty low on my tier list, as did pretty much every single other person in the world, because we didn't think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be super good in a double restricted format, but it has proven to be insane. It just outputs so much damage, though it is pretty easy to stop, and you know, one Raichu and it's over. We have seen Fairy Terror on this thing, though I do think the Electric Terror version is a lot better, and it'll be interesting to see which one finishes higher at the event. But I think this thing is always going to be equipped with that Choice Specs, and it's just going to be trying to do a ton of damage before it gets knocked out. So that is my number 3. My next one is... Oh, I missed one. Hold on. There we go. It's going to be Ice Rider. Sorry about that. It's going to be Ice Rider. Ice Rider is very, very good, and the Pokemon I think is going to win the World Championship. It has so much versatility. It can run in Trick Room teams. It can run outside of Trick Room as well. It's super bulky. It can output tons of damage. Once it gets rolling, it's kind of over. You're putting usually Clear Amulet on this thing, so it can't be affected by the Incineroar. We see Grass Terror on it. We can see Fire Terror on it. Water Terra. It just does so many different things. It has pretty good move pool with a lot of coverage, as well as you can go Terra Blast, which I've seen a couple of times. It's not super popular, but I have seen Terra Blast on it. Just a very, very good Pokemon. And I mean, I'm kind of excited to see some really good users of this Pokemon. And I think, like I said, it's going to win the world champion. I think it's way more versatile than Calyrex Shadow Rider, where Calyrex, I feel like, just wants to click Astral Barrage and hope not to get one-shot by Incineroar's knockoff. You have Calyrex Ice Rider, who can take a knockoff and hit back and potentially knock out Incineroar. So, but Shadow Rider, I think, is going to be the _1 used Pokemon. It's seemingly the most unfair Pokemon ever created by the Pokemon Company. It does so much damage. It's so fast. It's incredible. And with Terastallization, you can get rid of a lot of its weaknesses. Though that could be one of the weaknesses of this Pokemon, is the fact that most of the time you have to Terastallize this. But next to something like Clefairy, who doesn't share any weaknesses and actually resists dark types, can really take a lot of those attacks and really nullify them. So it really leads to the success of this Pokemon, and I think we will see those teams running around pretty commonly. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Pokemon also won the World Championship, but my money is on Ice Rider. But anyways, next is going to be the underrated Pokemon. You're going to see a common theme here. They're mostly dark Pokemon. First, we got Serena. I think Serena could be very good, especially in Kyogres. It gets rid of priority moves as well as outputs a lot of damage. You can run Assault Vest on it, or you can run Choice Scarf on it, which I've seen, and it does really well with Triple Axle and stuff like that. So I think this Pokemon could be pretty successful. It just all depends on the team comps and stuff like that. Next, we have Moltres, and Moltres is going to be a Pokemon that is really good into both Calyrexes. It hits them for super effective. It also gets boosted up by being attacked, which is huge too. And it gets Nasty Plot, Tailwind. It gets flying moves, which is really good into Rillaboom. So this Pokemon is in a position to do really well at this tournament if somebody builds the correct team with it. And we have seen the correct team being used in the past, actually winning a regional, but it has fallen off since kind of that time. Next, we have Regidrago. This is a Pokemon that outputs massive amounts of damage into basically everything except for those Fairy-type Pokemon, and the Fairy-type Pokemon have dropped in usage recently, so I think this could be the time for Regidrago to kind of take into that slot that, you know, something like the Regieleki was in the past, and just be super successful at the World Championship. But it's going to take the right team, and you got to position it very well in order. So you have to be a very, very good player, which it's the World Championship, so they're all very good players. But you got to be better than the other good players to position it well. And when it is positioned well and played right, this thing absolutely dominates. Next, we have Umbreon. And I think out of all these Pokemon, this is the Pokemon that has the highest chance of success. This Pokemon is very good into both of the Calyrexes, like insanely good with Foul Play and Snarl. It also gets Yawn to put Pokemon to sleep, which is huge. It has Self-Recovery with Wish if you want to do something with that. It can also just outbulk a lot of Pokemon, where even though it's getting attacked, it's doing more damage back. Just by a little bit, but it's doing more damage back. It can run a bunch of different items. I believe it gets Taunt. So, like, it can do so many different things. And some people might just put this on their team as that dark coverage to help deal with some of those matchups. So, Umbreon has a chance of being very, very good, just like it had in the past. We've seen Umbreon succeed in the past, and this could be another opportunity for it. And then we have Tyranitar. I've been putting Tyranitar. I haven't even moved this sprite in a very long time. It has been sitting in that same spot. Len is at this tournament, right? So there's some viability already for Tyranitar. I think it's really good into both Calyrexes. It's good into Incineroar. It's good into a bunch of different things. So I think we can see this succeed. Plus, there's a lot of rain going around right now, and being able to swap out that rain that comes from that Pelipper into this could help you, do your fire attacks into Zamazenta or whatever it might be. So I think this Pokemon could be very, very good. But we'll have to see. Especially if Len's doing well, Tyranitar is doing well. And speaking of Len, I want to show some players I'm going to watch this weekend. Len's not one of them. I will be checking up on Len, but these are the players I'm going to be watching. And there's a bias on this list, so don't mind that. But there's a lot of players I actually know that are at the World Championship, so I put a couple of them onto this list too, as well as some players you guys might know the names of. So First, we're going to go Wolf Glick, and I'm going to update this on each one of the videos I do every day, because I'm going to be doing a video every single day recapping the day before. So, like, tomorrow's video is going to be recapping day 1 of the World Championship, which is happening tonight. And I will update these with their records and if they made day 2, and we'll talk about them and whatever information I have about each of the players. I will give you that information. If I can get some inside information from the players I know or about the players I know, then I will be able to share that with you guys as well. But anyway, we got Wolf Glick, of course, 2016 World Champion, amazing player. I mean, the best of all time. Next, we have Jose Vasquez. This is a friend of mine. If you've ever seen him on Twitch, he's on Twitch a lot. Well, used to be. I don't think he is as much anymore. He's also on Twitter, and he's just an amazing player. He got top 8 at regionals past year and has done very well. Qualified for the World Championship and kind of took a break for a little bit, but I believe he's back. I believe he's going to be there. I don't have 100% confirmation on that, but from what it sounds, he's there. So we'll be rooting for Jose, of course. Next, we have Jacob Lintner. This is a player I actually put up a video about. This is a local player, somebody I face a lot, and actually has one more win against me than I have against him now. I've come back because it was like he had 4 against me. Now I have it. Now it's 3 and 4, so I've beaten him in the last 3, which feels really good. Including that video I put up. Make sure you go check that out. Very, very good player. One of the best players in New England. Goes to all the events, always tops the events. So very, very good. Next, we have Michael Zhang. Of course, if you watch my videos on Players to Watch, Michael Zhang was on there. One of the most creative team builders there is. Very, very good player. Has been pretty consistent this past year. Has gone to a lot of events. So I'm really interested to see what they bring to the World Championship. If they continue to improve what they were working on, which was that Kyogre team, I believe. Or if they just completely switch what they're doing and go for something else, because they were using Wo Chien at the last regional, right? So will they bring Wo Chien again? Next, we have Paul Chu. This is a player I love to watch. I've been a big fan of Paul Chu ever since I started really watching VGC. I just really enjoy his playstyle, and he has very similar playstyle to me. Really, really good player. I believe has the second most regionals after Wolf. And just, won internationals last year. Didn't really perform at the World Championships the last few years. So now's his chance to really break out, and hoping for the best. Next, we have Stefan Mott. This is another player from my local area in New England, and a Football Manager fan. If you know, you know, which I found out a few weeks ago at a cookout that we were both at. We talked about Football Manager for about half an hour. But a really, really good player. Plays a similar teams that I like to play, like Mouse Ape and stuff. So interested to see what they're going to bring to this regional as well. One of the top players in terms of championship points this past season. Next, we have Zachary Weed. Of course, got top 8 at Orlando. If you watched Wolf Glick's video recently, almost beat Wolf Glick in top 8. Unfortunately, fell short by 1 turn. And yeah, amazing player. This is a former regional champion in the seniors division who has now aged up into masters and is very, very good. Often getting second, if not first place at local events here in Massachusetts and the surrounding area in New England, I guess. So really, really, really good player. Next, we have Eduardo Cunha. This is a former world champion of 2022. One of my favorite players to watch. Their playstyle is very, very similar to mine, and I really like to see how they navigate turns. And yeah, just really, really good player that I do really, really enjoy watching. Next, we got Huma Hara. I think that's how you say their name. I could be wrong, and I apologize if I incorrectly say anybody's name. This is the Japan national champion, and they are actually 2-time Japan national champion, and a very, very good player, of course. That format is so hard. There's so many good players at those tournaments, and it's best of 1. It's really, really rough. So they are a very, very skilled player to win that twice. Like, insane. That's insane. So I'm interested to see what they can do going into the World Championship this year and what team that they're going to bring. Next, we have John Hu. This, speaking of creative team builders, him and Jamie Boyd are like the two most off the wall team builders of all time. And they are extremely good players too, to be able to navigate with those teams. Speaking of which, Jamie Boyd said he's using Monkey Dory, so look out for that. I don't know what John Who's going to be using, but I hope that he gets on stream and can show it off, because I'm very, very interested. I love watching him play. Like his teams are so crazy. His team's so crazy. Whenever he streams Pokemon, like I always try to be there. Next, we have Ju Young Hong, which is the South Korean national champion. And this is also a very good player. Hasn't really done too much since winning world championships in 2017 in the senior division. From what I can tell, I couldn't find too many accolades besides that, and the year after finishing top 32 or whatever at Worlds in the Masters division. So maybe they took a hiatus or something like that. But now they are the South Korean regional champion, or national champion, I apologize, and won that Worlds invite and that round 1 bye, I believe. And it'll be interesting to see how they can put those skills back in, maybe come back even stronger than they were back then, and maybe win another world championship. And I apologize for this next name, because I don't know how to say it, but I think it's Sherry. It's got to be Tree. I think it's Tree. It's something like that. I apologize. Wei. And they are the Taiwan national champion. This is a really good player who has been performing very well in the last few seasons, and somebody that I'm really interested to see how well they do. These 4 were going to be in my video of players to watch from the East Asian countries, but it was just so hard finding information on these players that it was just super, super difficult, because it's not like as well documented as we have over here, where everything is streamed, everything is shown, like people are writing down everything, putting everything on websites. There, it's not as readily available, though it is getting better. So hopefully we can start getting that information more readily available for everybody. But these are 4 players that I am excited to watch and wanted to put on that video, but just couldn't find enough information. But anyways, let's get to what everybody's waiting for, and the hot takes. And these ones are spicy. I don't think most of them are going to happen, but you know what? We're going with it. And number 1 is going to be an electric mouse Pokemon makes top 8. This is 10-year anniversary of, Sejin Park's win. So to have a mouse, I know that's a squirrel, but have another, Pikachu clone mouse Pokemon make top 8 is just, is just in the script, right? It's just gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Next, we have James Beck loses in top 4 again. I don't want this to happen. I want James Beck to potentially win the whole thing, get to the finals. Let's do it. But yeah, it's a hot take. It's a hot take. I think James Beck is going to play fantastic, and I love James Beck and his content and everything like that. And as a player, he has a very different style than a lot of people, and I think that helps him succeed in a lot of cases. He thinks about the game a little bit different, and I like that. So hopefully he can make it past the top 4, but I got to put it out there. Next, Urshifu Dark places higher than water. Once again, I don't think this is going to happen, just like James Beck, but who knows? Maybe people are all focusing super heavy on water Urshifu, and nobody's focusing on Dark Urshifu, allowing it to succeed. Who knows? It's happened before, right? It's happened before. People have overlooked things. And now, out of all the hot takes, I think this one is the most likely to happen. Wolf wins World Championship. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best of all time. Some say Ray Rizzo. I think with the longevity of Wolf has done this on, I think Wolf Glick is the best of all time. Though he has struggled very badly in the last 3 or 4 World Championships. Since his win in 2016, he actually did pretty well in 2017. But ever since then, I think he's been a drop-off. But Wolf Glick has gone into focus mode, to say the least. He's done extremely well at every regional he's been to this year. and winning 2 of them. I think he's only went to 4 or something like that, and he's done really well at the internationals he also went to. So he's put out the results. He said he's having a lot more fun with it than he has in the recent past, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he has like taken a step back. Instead of going to all the events, he's kind of just going to the ones he wants to go to. That includes this one. He hasn't played. He played at North American International Championships, but he's had all that time in between to just focus on learning and kind of developing his team, working on his team with his group and all that stuff. He even said he's not going to take photos or hang out with any fans. He's going to focus, and he's going to focus on each of his games, and he's going to make sure that he's in the zone. He also said he's bringing in Cineroar, so it's kind of just over for everybody, right? He's got to be the favorite to win the whole thing, in my opinion. I think there's some really other good players out there that could, potentially be up there too. But man, we've seen Wolf not focus and win regionals. Imagine Wolf on full focus mode and trying hard. It's a scary thought. So anyway, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys thumbs it up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. And if you want, hit that bell icon. That way you know when my videos go live, because I'm going to be doing a video every day during the World Championship, bringing recaps, as well as when I go live for live streaming, which is happening 2 to 3 times a week. I'm playing some VGC and just hanging out. So if you're interested in any of that, hit that bell icon. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.